Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to our commission meeting, Thursday, August 7th. I'd like to call the meeting to order, meeting number 202508007R.
Tonight's music selection made by Commissioner Brody was Firestarter by Sons of Legion.
Okay.
The next commission meeting on August 28th, the music selection will be made by Commissioner Welch. We'd like to remind everyone to please silence your mobile devices. To help with sound quality, please make sure to speak clearly and directly into your microphone and mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If anyone is having trouble hearing at any point during the meeting, please raise your hand and someone will bring an audio assistance device. And also, just for the commissioners, the request to speak system is fully operational this evening, so you'll be able to utilize it during your agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell?
Here.
Commissioner Welch?
Here.
Commissioner Brody?
Here.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Here.
Mayor Raley?
Here.
City Manager Rose?
Here.
City Attorney Piper?
Here.
Thank you. I would like to ask all to join in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Please, everyone, remain standing following the pledge for a moment of silence in remembrance of former Commissioner and Mayor Marilyn Gerber, who recently passed away at the age of 95. Marilyn proudly served the city from 1995 until her retirement in 2013. Thank you all. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with Marilyn and her family, and we thank her and her family for their service to the city of Coconut Creek. Thank you. Okay.
This meeting is being conducted live with a physical quorum present. The material for today's meeting is available online at coconutcreek.net. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purpose may need to ensure that a verbatim recording of the proceedings is made, including the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The archive of this meeting may be requested from the city clerk or may be heard online at coconutcreek.net. If you haven't already, please silence your mobile devices. If you must take a phone call, please excuse yourself and step outside. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained throughout the meeting. Vocal outbursts, jeering, cheering, or applause can impair the rights of others and derail the decision-making process.
Thank you. Our first order of business is a presentation honoring K-9 Officer Brian J. Valente on his retirement. Chief Hofer.
Good evening, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, Mayor, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. Yeah, tonight's bittersweet. A couple of weeks ago, we did have a retirement ceremony at the Juvenile Achievement, I get them mixed up, sorry, Juvenile Achievement Center for Officer Brian Valente, but tonight is the official recognition. Before we begin, I'd just like to recognize a special group, members of the alumni from the Coconut Creek Police Department. If you're here, can you please stand so you can be recognized? Stand up. That means stand up. And tonight, Brian gets brought into that group. Brian, can you come forward? Last time, I promise. I did this to him a couple of weeks ago. So at his retirement party at Juvenile Achievement, we went through, took some notes and wrote down, usually we do speeches from the heart, we don't write them down, but we wanted to highlight his special career and all of his achievements. So I'm going to go through what we talked about the other day, or like a couple of weeks ago. Officer Brian Valente's distinguished career with the Coconut Creek Police Department began in May 1995. He self-sponsored his training through the Palm Beach Community College Police Academy, demonstrating an early, strong drive for public service. Further solidifying his foundational skills, he attended the Broward Fire Academy in 1995 as, at the time, Coconut Creek Public Safety served both police and fire roles. In 2002, Coconut Creek Public Safety split to form separate police and fire entities. Brian made the decision for the people he serves to stay on the police side. Officer Valenti's legacy doesn't start or stop with Coconut Creek. Officer Valenti's father spent 4 decades in this noble profession, 20 years as New York Police Department, and then 20 more with the Broward County Sheriff's Office. His brother Mike is also in law enforcement and a 25-year veteran deputy with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. With their combined service of close to 100 years, the Valenti family has been a strong and important part of the law enforcement community. Officer Valenti quickly proved his capabilities serving as a field training officer and a dedicated member of the SWAT team from 1999 until May 2005. His time in SWAT highlights his courage, tactical proficiency, and unwavering resolve in high-stakes situations. He played a huge role in training and mentoring many of the officers who have passed through the halls of this agency. However, it was his profound connection with the K-9 unit that truly defined much of his tenure. From 2005 until his retirement on July 26, 2025, Officer Valenti was an integral part of the K-9 team, forming unbreakable bonds with 3 exceptional partners. First was K-9 Kaz from 2005 to 2010. He was my favorite. Their partnership laid the groundwork for years of successful K-9 operations. Second was K-9 Vito from 2010 to 2016. Officer Valenti and Vito continued the tradition of excellence, contributing significantly to the agency's efforts. And last but not least is K-9 Lucky, 2016 to 2025. Their final partnership culminated in their joint retirement, marking the end of an era of dedicated service. All 3 of Officer Valenti's K-9 partners were expertly trained and certified for both patrol narcotics detection, making them invaluable assets in countless operations. His career is a shining example of unwavering commitment, specialized skill, and the extraordinary bond between a dedicated officer and his K-9 companions. Officer Valenti's attitude, service, and passion for police work extended far beyond the confines of his official duties, reaching deep into the community he served proudly. His impact on others, both colleagues and citizens alike, was and remains invaluable. He didn't just enforce laws, he built trust, fostered safety, and exemplified the true spirit of community policing. During his time at CCPD, Coconut Creek, Brian fostered many long-lasting friendships and has helped guide the careers of so many officers, new officers, and me being one of them. I'm confident that Officer Valenti will never know the true extent of his influence upon all the people he's helped, but today he will know just how much we all appreciate him and his service to this agency. We wish him the best of luck, and our doors remain open to his future visits. Congratulations on a well-defined and fulfilling career, old friend. Be careful, that's 2 pieces. That's what I asked Maureen. We'll get everybody up there. All right, Brian, we need to get a picture with you and the mayor and Sheila and then all the commissioners. While they're shaking hands, I'll mention Brian's dad and my dad both worked from NYPD, and that's how we met. And we lived in West Boca when both our dads retired. Before I was a police officer here, I met Brian through his brother Mike, and we met in the gym one day, and Brian was completely mean to me. And I said to myself, I'm going to be this guy's boss one day. Goal achieved. All right, so And do you want to get... Commissioners want to get in the picture? We're going to get one more with everybody. That's okay. She got it. We're coming. We're coming. Can we get all the members of Coconut Creek Police Department and the alumni up front, please?
Oh, gosh. All right. Congratulations, Officer Valente.
Excuse me. Thank you for your service.
What's that, baby? I'm all right. What is that? Oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let's, yeah, no. I want to say to every officer in the room, thank you, thank you, thank you for your service and all that you do for Coconut Creek. Okay, thank you. Again, congratulations, Officer Valente. And again, thank you to all the officers in the room. All right, next up, gavel. As much as I hate to break this up, I'm sorry, I think we have to.
Tina's loud.
Yeah. Tina, do you think, Senator Polsky, do you think you could speak over this crowd? All right, thank you. Right now, we have a presentation, and we're honored to have State Senator Tina Polsky regarding the 2025 state legislative session. So thank you. Thank you, Senator Polsky.
Of course. Hi, everyone. Congratulations again, Officer Valenti, on your retirement, and thank you to all the brave members of the Coconut Creek Police Department. Hello, everyone. It is so nice to see you again. It's been a little while. Probably I last saw you in Tallahassee. We appreciate so much when you make the long journey to visit us during Broward Days or otherwise to advocate for the city. So everyone should know how hard their city commissioners work to work with the state and support us in our role as legislators. So we really appreciate it. I wanted to introduce my staff who is here, Savannah Marshall and Shayna Cohen. And they are integral to getting anything done. And if you need anything, constituent services, any help, any direction, we are here for you. There are some flyers or cards in the front there, so please take, and my number and email is very easily accessible. So please reach out. We are here to help. I wanted to talk about some of the bills that I passed this year, then get into budget and a couple of other bills for you all to be aware of, and then just some closing notes. I guess I had a pretty good year in terms of passing bills, which, is not necessarily the most important thing, but it is nice when you work hard on legislation that's important and it does get passed, which, many of you know is not easy to do, especially a minority member of the legislature, but also the number of hurdles that you have to go through, the number of committees. There are a couple thousand bills that are put forward, and I think only a couple hundred actually get signed. So it's not easy to do. So I wanted to talk about the first bill that provides that hospitals have to do fentanyl testing when they are if they're doing a drug overdose panel. And sometimes it doesn't happen, believe it or not. And this is named after a young man who lost his life, Gage Taylor, in the Orlando area, and his parents brought this legislation to us because not everyone was aware that they had fentanyl poisoning, and there are treatments for it. So it's a very important safety. And on that note, seems to be a theme, we also passed a bill that makes August 21st Fentanyl Awareness Day. And I will be sending you some materials. We're making a video, some graphics and things that I would love for you to be able to use and shoot out on social media and email blast to the city residents on August 21st, because it's the first year we're doing it, and it's part of National Fentanyl Awareness Day. And if people are just aware of how dangerous it is and what they can do, we could really save some lives. So I would appreciate if you are able to work with us on that. We did a bill that actually was the only immigration type of bill that was passed after a special session, and it has to do with fraud from notary publics. And what happens is the Spanish word for a notary public is a notario publico, but that also means a lawyer in South American countries. And so if someone holds themselves out to be a notary public in the United States, there are some people who would think that person is a lawyer. And these unscrupulous individuals sell their services as legal, but that's not what a notary public can do in the United States. So this bill prevents the fraud and makes advertising for these services and more punishment available to make sure that people know what they're getting in the very important job of hiring someone to help you with your immigration status. So I think it's a really important consumer protection bill, and we're very proud of that. We passed a bill that puts on a website all the information that you need about background checks for folks who do like after-school activities and things, just so everyone has the information at their fingertips on what to expect from a background check, what to do if you need to get a background check, and what, as a parent, you should expect from places that you go that have people taking care of your children. A couple of things, as you may know, sometimes ideas that you have don't necessarily make it to their own bill, but get to be part of something else. And sometimes you just put ideas out there and hope that they get picked up in other ways, and there's no pride in authorship. It's just important that, these concepts get out there. So one came through a bill that I had, but they ended up putting it in the budget, which requires that the Attorney General's office puts out information on their legal contracts with private law firms. Right now, there's nothing to require them to say how much money they're spending, which firms they're hiring, why they need outside attorneys when we have hundreds of attorneys who work for the state of Florida. So I think that's a really important first step towards transparency, and I'm proud that that is now a requirement. Also, I'll talk in a few minutes about a bill, kind of a difficult election bill on the citizen initiative petitions. But I don't like this bill, but the one good part was that you can't have as happened in the last election, where the governor or agencies of the government spent taxpayer dollars on commercials or any kind of advertising for or against an amendment. Our taxpayer money should not be being used that way. And in the bill that I unfortunately had to vote against is a concept that I had in a bill to prevent using money, taxpayer money, for these kinds of political ads when you work for the government. Oh, I skipped the most important thing. Oh no, that comes next. Here we are, money. So the budget was passed and signed at the end of June. Unfortunately, I had two projects in the budget for Coconut Creek. We had secured $200,000 for fleet building rehabilitation and $800,000 for advanced metering infrastructure. Even to get those appropriations in the budget in the final steps is a lot of work. And I believe both of those were with Rep. Honchovsky, and we worked very hard to get those into the budget and to make them a priority, because that's what you all wanted us to do. So we did it. I want to thank Lauren Jackson and your whole lobby team and all of you for the work that you did to advocate for the city. So we got pretty far, and we're very, very happy about that. And unfortunately, those two items were vetoed by the governor. So I come here empty-handed today. I know in the past I've been able to present a check, and we will continue to try to do that next year. It is obviously the process, and not much that we can do, but just wanted you to know that we're working and trying to do that. I sometimes come here and talk about culture war bills and things that have come up that I personally don't really like. This year, we were able to kill a couple of those. There weren't as many. I will happily admit that that wasn't the focus of the session, maybe because they did all the things they already wanted to do in the last bunch of years. But this year, there was a little strange focus on anti-DEI, especially for governments, and it would have affected all of you. And there were several bills, and sometimes, you sense a theme, and they were a little repetitive of each other, and they were kind of going on different tracks. And a lot of people didn't like it. The minority caucus fought really hard against them, and those bills did not pass. I believe there is some kind of anti-DEI language in the budget, so, just be wary of that. But I think some of the things they were trying to do, were not appropriate and kind of were difficult for a local government like yourselves to be able to do the kind of programs that you want to do. So I think that's good news. As I mentioned, let me go back a second. The biggest issue that I'm sure your constituents and mine come to me about is the cost of property insurance. And unfortunately, I have no good news on that subject. We did nothing on property insurance for the entire session. Many of us put forward bills that we think will help possibly bring down the price. And unfortunately, none of them were heard, and there was no movement made on property insurance. Sorry to say. As I mentioned, the Citizen Initiative Bill is Senate Bill 7016. And this bill we all know what happened in the last election. There were a bunch of amendments, and many of those were brought forward by the citizens because they want to make a change, and they can't get the legislature to enact what they're looking for. And so our Constitution allows for a process where the citizens can band together and work exceptionally hard to get something on the ballot. It requires tens of millions of dollars and years of work and 1 million signatures across the state. The last two amendments, Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 on recreational marijuana and abortion, came really close. They were like 56%, 57%, but they didn't pass because you need 60% in our legislature to get something added to the Constitution. So because those amendments came kind of close, the legislature decided they didn't like that, and they don't want to be dealing with these citizens' initiatives all the time. So this bill that I'm talking about made it so difficult for future citizen initiatives to come forward. The type of people who are allowed to ask for signatures, the number of ballots that you can carry, the amount of money that you have to put forward in order to bring these, the kind of liability that you may face for like signing it incorrectly, the information you have to show in order to sign. And also, what really kills me is that if you signed a petition, let's say there's clean water going around now or Medicaid expansion, if you sign one, you are going to get a call from the supervisor or a letter from the supervisor saying, did you really mean to sign this? And, you know, they don't do that if you wrote Palm Beach County instead of Broward County. They're just going to throw it out. They don't give you an opportunity to cure. They're only looking for an opportunity to throw away that petition that you signed to get them to the number that they need. So it's very clear what was trying to be accomplished this year, and you know, I'm very, very disappointed in that. I often come to you explaining about preemption bills, bills that take away your ability to have local control over Coconut Creek. There weren't that many that were done. Some are kind of small in scope. And one that's kind of important that I'm sure you heard about is a very large agriculture bill, but what that had in it is a ban on fluoride. So now you may not have fluoride in municipal water, and you know, that's something that individual cities could have made the decision for themselves, but now you can't. So one thing that has just popped up kind of recently, it was Senate Bill 180, and I'd love for you to, you know, take a look at this and dig a little deeper. This was a bill that on its face seemed like a good kind of bill. It had to do with how cities respond in emergencies and after the fact, and basically trying to give people the opportunity to rebuild and not have a lot of red tape and, you know, the kinds of things that stop the recovery from going on. So it seemed kind of innocuous. But it turns out that there's a look-back period of 3 years that doesn't allow more restrictive or burdensome amendments to your comprehensive plan or land development regulations. And there are now 2 land developers in other parts of the state who are going after their local governments to try to get rid of certain ordinances. So I did speak to the bill sponsor, Nick DeSegli, and I sent him the information that I found on this, and he says, we will look at, you know, fixing any unintended consequences, because they said that's not their intention. But now there are folks who are using this to their advantage. And so, you know, keep your eye on that. It may not turn out to be problematic for you. You know, hopefully we have an earlier session this year. Maybe we can get something fixed so it won't be a problem, but, you know, keep your eye on that. We did pass a condo reform bill, which I know is a big issue here, and basically it gives the best part for folks who are having trouble with the reforms that were put into place is it gives another year to reach the CSRS deadline. And so that will be the end of this year, 25, instead of last year, 24. It's pretty extensive. There's a lot of provisions. I can provide information that we've gotten from community associations, groups. I think we may have kind of given that to the mayor when we spoke at Winmore. But there's there's provisions in it. It's meant to be kind of a fix for some of the issues that we encountered after the big, building reform bill. So they continue to work towards that, but, the reforms, the requirements are the requirements. The building safety is not going away, but, they're trying to be a little more flexible. I wanted to just mention that I know you're going through a lot with the Turnpike expansion issue. Myself and Rep. Honchofsky have a call next week with the folks at FDOT to try to plead the case. We have the information that you are looking for, like what you're trying to accomplish, which I think is a really good compromise, and I appreciate, the way that that's been presented. So we will do our best to help advocate for you. So we will get back to you on how that conversation goes. Our session starts in January to March. We start committee weeks in October, and we have 6 of them, I believe, before the start in January. As always, if anyone has a bill idea, any of you, any people listening in the audience, please let us know. That's how the best bills come. The Fentanyl Awareness Day came from a Broward public school student, and we're very proud to bring bills forward that come from the community. The best ideas all come from you guys. So please reach out and let us know. There's plenty of time to get that done. And, I look forward to working with you when we do start session and when you see things that I need to be aware of, questions I need to ask, talking points, amendments, anything like that, things to watch out for, things that you like. My door is always open, and we need to hear from the experts. We don't necessarily know something that might be affecting local government, and, we really appreciate that information and working together. And I just always like to end with reminding everyone who's listening that you have to re-register to vote by mail. Every 2 years, it has to be redone. So if you voted by mail or you received a vote by mail in the last presidential election, you do not have one going forward for the next time. So very simple. You can go online. You can call. It's always good to have a vote by mail ballot. You don't have to use it. You can vote in person, and then you don't use your vote by mail ballot. You don't ever vote twice. They know that. They know how to watch out for that. So I just want to always remind people to do that and to please stay involved with your local government, with your state government, with your federal government. It's all really important. And as you can see, so many issues that affect all the residents of Coconut Creek. It is my honor to represent you in Tallahassee and to work with all of you. And I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Okay. Thank you so much, Senator. And thank you for your continuous support and advocacy for us. Thank you. As you know, and you are aware of how important home rule is and to protect our home rule. Thank you so much. Any questions, any comments? Commissioner Welch?
Again, thank you very, very much for your service and what you attempted to do. I was interested in the committee weeks, and do you think that would be valuable rather than waiting until you are in session in January? Seems like it would be a less harried time and more time spent with in meetings.
It definitely could if you want just kind of face-to-face meetings in general, but if you wanted to advocate for a specific bill or an appropriation, those are not going to really be prepared during the committee week. So there's not something, unless you know something specific that's going to be going on that you're predicting, or if there's an early bill filed.
I was going to say to look at the early bills and see if there's interest. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you.
But we don't always know if those bills, even if something
If they make
terrible,
it.
if they're going to be heard.
Yeah.
So there's plus and minuses to coming, but I understand what you're saying. It is a little quieter, but you don't really know exactly what we're fighting yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other commissioner? Thank you. Thank you so much. Always
You're so
informative.
welcome. Good to
Thank
see you all.
Thank you, Senator. We will now have input from the public on non-agenda or consent agenda items. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Savannah. We have one other exciting bill that I forgot to talk about, which you're going to be voting on approving, is the Specialist Daniel Agami Bridge that connects 3 cities. and you all are ones that have to approve naming this bridge after this Daniel Agami, who unfortunately, we lost in war. And so very excited to bring that forward, and appreciate you all taking the time to vote on it today. And I look forward to it going through for all the cities, and then us having a great, dedication ceremony with his family and naming the bridge after him. So thank you.
Thank you. That is very important and well-deserved. Thank you. Okay. All right, I will start over. We will now have input from the public on non-agenda or consent agenda items. I remind everyone wishing to speak that all comments must pertain to city business. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained. Behavior that disrupts the orderly conduct of this meeting, such as clapping, shouting, booing, and cheering, is not permitted. Any person who violates the decorum rules will be subject to removal from the commission chambers. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who is signed in to speak on non-agenda or consent agenda items?
Yes, Mayor, the first individual that signed up to speak this evening is Christopher Wachowski.
Okay, thank you.
God be with us. How are you?
Good.
God be with us. How are you? Commissioners,
Wonderful, Christopher.
Vice Mayor, Mayor, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. Thank you for your help introducing me to Mr. Blanchetti. He has reduced the odor at the lift station about by 30%. I do need some advice, though, if we need some additional help, where to go to seek additional help to solve the issue. Also, what do you think about a ban on herbicide use in the city? Any businesses with dumpsters attached to the business physically? And I may have seen something that you may have a ban in progress for gas-powered, like lawn equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, please.
The next individual that signed up to speak this evening is Laura Matherick.
Thank you for the time allowing me to speak this evening. So this is my 5th year serving as the president of the Women's Club of Coconut Creek, a volunteer-run nonprofit that has been at the heart of the community for 55 years. Over that time, we have witnessed firsthand how the dedicated grassroots organization can have profound impacts on city life, not through paid staff, but through the commitment of hard work and from more than 85 community volunteers. None of our members receive compensation. We serve because we care deeply about Coconut Creek and our residents. I know you recently received the grant request in the amount of $14,592.81 from our organization. And whatever you're willing to give us, we're willing to take. We're more than grateful. But I'm here tonight to share with you why it is essential that, that I advocate on behalf of all the Coconut Creek nonprofits who serve solely this community without paid staff. I'm well aware that there are many impressive organizations that are seeking grants from the city, and it is no secret that the budgetary cuts have been imposed by Tallahassee. But unlike many grant applicants, there is a small handful of us, 4 actually, who are rooted here in Coconut Creek. Our members, events, and programs are entirely city-focused. Our volunteers live here and work here for free. Every dollar you grant us goes directly back into Coconut Creek and its residents. And I'm speaking solely from the perspective of the Women's Club at this point, not just because we are a staff of unpaid staff. But on behalf of the Women's Club, I urge you, before you deliberate the city's allocations on Monday, please do some homework this weekend. Please consider where your support makes the most local impact. Who is leveraging the most from every grant dollar, and which organizations are delivering results for Coconut Creek residents? Please ask yourself if you will be giving tax dollars to fund CEO salaries, rent on offices that are housed outside of our municipality, or if it will be serving non-Coconut Creek residents. Then make your decisions. I'm happy to leave you with the information that we found and encourage you to check it. It has data here on where these organizations are located, who they serve, and how much their senior leadership makes, some of which are making six figures as they ask for our tax dollars to go to them. The Women's Club of Coconut Creek is not just an event planners or volunteers. We're part of the essential fabric that makes Coconut Creek a wonderful, vibrant place to live. Please help us in sustaining this work and take it to even further lengths with your support and with our grant requests. Thank you for your time and your service and your partnership in building a stronger Coconut Creek for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on a non-agenda or consent agenda item? Thank you. Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed. Thank you. Okay, consent agenda. A motion approving the minutes from previous city commission meetings, 2025-0710R. Number 4, resolution 2025-108, a resolution declaring certain city-owned property as surplus and authorizing the city manager or designee to dispose of said property as described in the attached list. Number 5, resolution 2025-117, a resolution supporting the designation of the bridge on State Road 7 over Sample Road as the Special Daniel J. Agami Bridge, as provided in Florida House Bill 987, approved by Governor Ron DeSantis on June 13, 2025, and enrolled as part of chapter number 2025-214, Laws of Florida, on July 8, 2025. Are there any commissioners who wish to pull the consent agenda? Any item? Okay. Seeing none, I would like a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Approved by Commissioner Welsh, seconded by Commissioner Brody. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Can we please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Raley?
Yes. Thank you. Resolution 2025-098, a resolution appointing an alternate member to the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board to fill the remainder of the vacant term ending with the next appointment in 2026. Is there a motion and a second to move agenda item 6 for discussion?
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Vice Mayor Wasserman and seconded by Commissioner Brody. At the April 24th, 2025 City Commission meeting, I nominated Nikki Ann Thompson to serve on the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board as the alternate, and the Commission approved that nomination. Ms. Thompson is no longer able to serve on the board, creating a vacancy. I wish to nominate Corrine LaJoy to fill the vacated position. City Clerk, are there any members of the public who have signed up to speak on this item?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who would like to provide input on this subject? Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to fill
Move
the
it.
vacated position? Commissioner Welsh, seconded by Vice Mayor Wasserman. Okay. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Raley?
Yes. The next meeting of the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board is Wednesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. Is Corinne here? Corinne, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for serving. Okay. Ordinance 2025-032.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, authorizing the mayor to execute the Second Amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Coconut Creek and New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of AT&T Mobility Corporation, which provides for modification of equipment on the telecommunications tower at Winston Park Nature Center, subject to all other terms and conditions provided therein, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for first reading.
Move it.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Okay. Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All right. Are there any questions from the commission? And we have a presentation by Harry Mapp. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. This straightforward amendment will allow New Singular Wireless PCS or AT&T to modify the equipment on the tower. The modification does increase the loading on the tower, and there's an increase in rent associated with that. And that's all I have pending. Any questions?
No question? Yeah.
I know
Commissioner
Cityscape's here.
Rydell?
I know Cityscape's here. I'm curious, Harry, is our consultant, they have any additional issues, or they're all good with it?
No, they're good with it.
I have nothing further. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions, comments? No? Okay, then, great.
Sure.
All right, would we call the roll, please?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Rayleigh?
Yes. Thank you. We're now going to consider a quasi-judicial item. Will the city attorney please explain the city's quasi-judicial procedures?
First, I want to remind everyone to please silence your mobile devices. Florida courts have determined that there are certain types of matters, including Agenda Item 8 on tonight's agenda, that are to be treated differently than other items considered by the Commission. In these quasi-judicial applications, the Commission is applying existing rules and policies to a factual situation and is therefore acting like a judge and jury do in a trial held in the courtroom. In such cases, the courts have decided that due process and fundamental fairness require that more formal procedures be followed. The City Commission's decision must be based on the evidence and information that is presented at the public hearing, including the agenda materials, Planning and Zoning Board recommendation, testimony presented at the public hearing, and the deliberations of the City Commission. The quasi-judicial procedures require that the Commission consider the evidence presented to it and base their decision on the applicable law and primarily on credible evidence presented whether by staff, the applicant, or members of the public. In a quasi-judicial proceeding, excuse me, the City Commission is not allowed to take into consideration public sentiment or the popularity of a particular development proposal or application. The City Commission may only consider competent substantial evidence. This means testimony or other evidence that a reasonable mind would accept as credible and adequate to support a conclusion. Florida courts have made it clear that mere generalized statements of opposition are to be disregarded, but fact-based testimony can be considered competent substantial evidence. This can include eyewitness observation testimony about relevant facts and documentary evidence, including photographs, aerials, and maps. Citizens who want to participate in a quasi-judicial hearing can testify as to factual matters in any element of the case that would not require specialized training or specific academic degrees. Their testimony will be considered provided their testimony is backed up by established facts, studies, or evidence that is not conjecture or just based on a feeling. The quasi-judicial hearing process is not a popularity contest. Strict rules of evidence do not apply during the public hearing, but any comments must be relevant to the agenda item. Everyone who seeks to speak on an item will be given an opportunity to speak. If you intend to provide testimony as to any of the applications to be considered tonight, you will be sworn in before your testimony is taken. Please know that if you speak, you may be subject to cross-examination. The City Commission may comment or ask questions of person addressing the Commission at any time as well. If you refuse to either be cross-examined or to be sworn, your testimony will be considered in that context and be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but may request that the Commission direct questions on their behalf to the applicant or staff. Will the clerk please confirm compliance with the notice requirements?
The city has satisfied the legally required public notice for the public hearing for Agenda Item 8.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Will you please swear in the witnesses?
Will anyone wishing to speak on any of the quasi-judicial items please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you come forward to speak, please state your name and address clearly for the record. State whether or not you have been sworn in and whether or not you understand the rules of the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear Agenda Item 8 after City Attorney Pyburn reads the ordinance title. I will ask for a motion and a second to move the item.
Ordinance number 2025-26, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, adopting the Winkelmulder Neighborhood Master Plan, prepared by Bermelo Ahamil, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coconut Creek by amending Chapter 13 Land Development Code, Article 3 Zoning Regulations, Division 1 generally, Section 13-295 definitions, providing for new definitions, and Division 2 zoning classifications and general requirements, Section 13-319 zoning overlay areas, by enacting subsection 13-319C4 Winkelmulder Equestrian Neighborhood Overlay Area, adopting a zoning overlay area for the area generally located south of Wiles Road, west of Tradewinds Park, north of the Florida Power and Light easement, and east of Lyons Road, and excluding the San Melina and Coquina subdivisions, and implementing the standards and policies that guide development of the Winkelmulder neighborhood within the property legally described in the enacting language, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for second reading, public hearing, and is quasi-judicial.
Move it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Rydell.
Are there any disclosures for this item since the last meeting?
No. Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam City Attorney, disclosures as to any of the residents?
Yes, it is a quasi-judicial item.
Yes, I have spoken to some of the residents in the proposed overlay district.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will have a presentation for city staffs. Justin Prophet.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Justin
you.
Prophet, Director of Sustainable Development. No presentation, just an update, and then I can stand for questions, or we can move on to the public hearing portion. The only update is that it was mentioned during the in the first reading public hearing that there were some inconsistencies between with the definition of non-residential farm building, with our definition in the draft ordinance versus the state statute. We did research on that. It was confirmed. So we did make some small minor adjustments to the language in the definition, and we recommend approval of the ordinance as it's been revised before you tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on Agenda Item 8? Once called upon, please identify yourself, state whether or not you have been sworn in, which you have, and whether you understand the rules of the proceedings. Thank you. Please, Mr. City Clerk.
Yes, the first individual that signed up to speak on this item is Drew Phillips.
Evening, Drew Phillips, 4320 Winkelmulder Road, Coconut Creek, Florida. I was sworn in. I am sure that all of you, at one point or another, being here in Florida, have had the right turn on red and the whole right lane is blocked up and the left lane is open. That's what happens every morning on 39th at the intersection of Wiles Road, leaving this neighborhood. It's probably simple as paint, but basically there's a left-hand turn lane and then there's a straight or right-hand lane. So everything has to wait at the light instead of simply having the left or straight, which has to wait on the light, and the right-hand turn lane. So, like I said, I think it's very simple, but especially if you're leaving at hey, I have to be at work at 8 o'clock, great. All of the trucks and trailers leaving are wonderful landscaping companies. They're following the law, but it blocks up all, the light. That's all, the intersection. So if you have left-hand turn and straight, who has to wait on the light no matter what, and allow the right-hand lane to turn, it would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Sheila.
Mr. Phillips, I can have our city engineer work with Broward County and do an evaluation of that intersection.
The last guy just had the day off. No, it was
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? Mr. Kavanaugh.
Yes, the next individual that signed up to speak on this item is Yola Cook.
Good evening. My name is Yola Cook. I'm here representing Spanaway Properties and Spitfire Farm, 4201 Vinkelmulder Road, Coconut Creek. First of all, again, thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it. Our horses really appreciate it. It's nice to know that the city cares about its green space and looks to preserve the sanctity of what this is, because it is going away quickly in Broward County. And the fact that we can hold on to this space and to these activities really means a lot. I just had actually one question, and I don't know if I just never caught this before. One of my neighbors just brought it up to me. It's the exhibit that's the future land use. I think it was listed as 3, but I'm trying to find it on the longer list. But it shows the area, and it says the main part of the area says EST 1, but the part that includes my farm says low 5.0, including the preserve area and what wraps around us. I just wanted to know what that meant. Obviously, it says it's future, so it's not today. But if somebody could maybe explain what that meant, I'd appreciate it. And again, thank you so much. I know this has been a long haul, but we really do appreciate it.
Great, thank you. Justin, would you mind meeting with Yola after the meeting? Thank
Sure,
you.
not a problem.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else, Mr. Kavanaugh?
And the last speaker that signed up to speak on this item is Andy Cody.
Andy Cody, 4551 Northeast 39th Street, I think is sufficient. Beings as the agenda appears to only have the slight modification in the wording, if that's correct. I don't have a moment study on that, but I do want to champion the idea of the left-hand and straight turn lanes. I think that's brilliant. The right-hand turn lanes don't have to be encumbered by the light, and there's as many people going right as there is left, and I really like that idea. Thanks, Drew. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Mr. Kavanaugh?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other further comments from the public? Thank you. Public hearing now closed. Thank you. Any closing remarks, Justin Prophet?
I could just answer the question about the future land use in
Okay.
case other inquiring minds want to know. It's very simple. It's a residential future land use designation. The 5.0 means 5 dwelling units to the acre. However, that doesn't mean that the zoning is more restrictive here, the A1 zoning. So we go by the A1 zoning. So that although that may say that it's only future land use, the zoning is what guides development, and indeed the overlay will even enshrine that further for the future.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question, you? Thank you. Okay. Any members of the commission? Yes, Commissioner Rydell.
I guess I'll make it real simple. How many people that are here live in that neighborhood? Just raise your hand. And by a show of hands, keep your hand raised if you want us to pass this tonight. And everyone put your hands down and put your hand up if you don't want us to pass this. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. I guess that answers our question. Yes, Commissioner Welch.
Thank you. I just want to thank those that have come to both of the community meetings over the past couple of years and your interest in it, and including the commissioners that attended the first public meeting. I think most every one of them did, to be better educated about what the community actually was anticipating seeing this district look like where you live, and I live next door too. So I just want to thank you, because community engagement is everything, and it's our guiding star as to how we make the policy here, especially in something this large and encompassing. And I just wanted to thank you, and especially thank the staff for all the hard work that they put into this too.
Okay. Yes. Commissioner Brody.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank you guys for coming out. You know, when we make these decisions on land use, we usually are the ones up here getting eggs thrown at us, and to be able to do something that you guys want, it means a lot to us up here too, that we are in unison together with the decisions that get made in properties. And by all means, I love that area. When I'm stressed out, I kind of drive through there every once in a while, and it kind of puts me back in a good place, because I love the feel of the country that we have, and we kind of lose that nowadays in what's going on in our cities here in South Florida. So by all means, I'm so happy that you guys like this. I'm so happy that we can actually do something that is a positive for the community. So thank you guys for showing up tonight. I really appreciate it. I think we all appreciate it, your input in every meeting that you guys have made. So thank you very much for being active in your community. That really says a lot.
Thank you. This just shows that we pride ourselves on listening to our residents and want to continue the reputation of Coconut Creek, caring about its residents. So thank you for being here. Now, deliberation by the Commission on Agenda Item 8, the Velka Mulder Neighborhood Master Plan, an amendment to the city's zoning code and zoning map to create the Velka Mulder Equestrian Neighborhood Overlay Area. If none is there, based on the testimony presented and the application's consistency with the city's land development regulations and comprehensive plan, a motion and a second to approve Agenda Item 8.
Motion.
Second.
Adopting the Velka Mulder Neighborhood Master Plan and amending the city's zoning code and zoning map to create the Velka Mulder Equestrian Neighborhood Overlay Area.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Vice Mayor Wasserman. Okay. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Riley.
Yes. Okay. Good. Ordinance 2025-036.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, accepting the conveyance of title from the Florida Department of Transportation to properties and easements for portions of drainage facilities and road right-of-way, such properties generally located within the Main Street project area and being identified in the legal descriptions and sketches attached hereto as Exhibit 1, providing for recordation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for first reading.
Move it.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Rydell. Are we in a hurry to get home? Are there any questions or comments from the City Commission at this time? City Staff, Justin Prophet, you have anything for us?
Yeah, I'll just briefly introduce this. If you recall, last year, the City Commission adopted a resolution to request from the Florida Department of Transportation the conveyance of these drainage easements and portions of right-of-way that, quite frankly, the city has been maintaining for quite a long time. And as a part of the Main Street development, one of the things we found, among many of the other things as you go through a development of a site, is you have some old parcels that are no longer being used or needed by FDOT that the city has been maintaining, that will also now be converted into the roadway designs and the streetscape designs and the right-of-way designs for Main Street. So as we were going through the review of Main Street's development, the city's engineering, utilities, sustainable development, FDOT, and the Main Street developers were meeting about this conveyance to figure out how to do this process. Took quite a while, but here we are. Now this ordinance would adopt the conveyance of these parcels for Main Street and the development of these roadways. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from Commission? Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this item? No? Seeing none? Okay. All right. Any further questions? Let's call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Riley.
Yes. Ordinance 2025-035. City Attorney Pyburn.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, approving the development agreement between the City of Coconut Creek and GSR RE Partners, LLC, and authorizing the mayor and city manager or their designees to execute same to provide for a long-term development contract to govern the development of the approximately 200 acres located west of Lyons Road and east of State Road 7, US 441, between Wiles Road and Sample Road, to be known as the Main Street at Coconut Creek Development, providing for mixed-use development, including residential, commercial, parks, and open space and civic uses, establishing a maximum residential density of approximately 12 dwelling units per acre, allowing for building heights not to exceed 8 stories, providing for conflicts, providing for recordation, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for first reading and first public hearing.
Thank you. Motion and a second,
Move
please.
it.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell, Commissioner Welsh, second. Okay. City Attorney for our report.
We have a little presentation for you. Just bear with us for a second. And while you're waiting, I will be making the presentation in conjunction with our city manager, Sheila Rose, and we also will have the developer's expert, I believe his name is Denny St. Romain, who will join us as well. I just want you to pause for a minute. This has been a long time coming. All right. So let me just give you an overview. This is the development agreement. A development agreement, in this case, this agreement is between the City of Coconut Creek and GSR RE Partners, LLC, which is the developer. The CDD, or Community Development District, will join through consent and joinder, which is an exhibit to the agreement. This agreement basically pertains to 200 acres between Lyons Road and State Road 7 from Wiles Road to Sample Road. The term of this development agreement is expected to be 30 years, which is the maximum allowed by state statute. We do not, however, really believe that it will take 30 years for the project to be built. We believe that it will be built much sooner, in which case the agreement will expire and terminate before then, once the project is built and there are end users. Another way that the project may expire or terminate before then would be if for some reason the developer does not close on the property with the Johns family before December 31st of 2025. We do not expect that to happen, as you will see in the next presentation having to do with the real property exchange agreement. They are expected to close on the property on September 18th. Again, a development agreement is a statutory construct, meaning that it is set forth by the Florida Local Government Development Agreement Act. Under Chapter 163 of the Florida statutes, that basically provides that the developer has vested rights to our current land development regulations as they exist today. That is because this is such a large-scale development, it only makes sense for them to be able to move forward if they know that we're not going to go changing the rules on them in the middle of the process. There are exceptions for health and safety. For example, if the Florida Building Code or Florida Fire Prevention Code is changed, there are also exceptions in the event of a state retroactive preemption that we don't have any control over. Otherwise, it is expected that we will freeze in time our current land development regulations for their benefit for the length of the project. And it does provide to the city some clarification regarding who is responsible for the construction and maintenance of infrastructure, parks, roads, and utilities.
So Terrell mentioned that we should pause, and I think that's right. I'd actually asked that the staff that's worked on this development agreement for so many months, they're here, if they would stand up. Justin, Scott, Wayne, Peter Gay, Eileen, Osama have all spent hours and hours working on this development agreement. Terrell.
And Kathy.
Really, Kathy. Because it is a momentous moment. I would also ask the development team to come on down. I mean, I think we're talking about your project, and we certainly hope that you'll be here to answer any questions. But just this group has spent so many hours and worked through the technical details of the development plan that you see on the screen here. This represents the PMDD that was approved, but the intricacies of this plan have been combed through by this group at a level of detail that will just astonish you. And I think it just is really important that you understand that. So I just want to take a moment to show you the master development plan that is effectuated by this development agreement. The other thing that you saw when we went through the PMDD is the phasing plan. And the reason the phasing plan is important is, one, it's important to point out that this project will go on for years. This is not a project that we expect, we do expect to start relatively quickly, but we don't expect it to finish for several years. And the investments that the city is making in this project, together with the developer, will spread over those years. So when we talk about some of these bigger numbers, they are investments, but they are investments that we will be spending over the next many years. The phasing plan, as you see, starts really along Lyons Road. We expect to see that project starting construction really, really quickly. All of the site plans are approved in that area, particularly for 1A. So we expect to see the infrastructure beginning and those projects to be the first phase, moving towards the center of the site, and then culminating, of course, with the development of the city's master park area. The public amenities that we've been talking so much about, really are highlighted by the Village Green, but it's so much more than just the Village Green. The main plaza, the Lakeside Plaza, which, I think gets a little, not as much attention as it might should. The Perimeter Greenway that we've been working on for years, starting with the promenade, when you start to visualize the ability to have basically a 4-mile loop around that area with an extra wide sidewalk, it really becomes a special area. The pocket parks, and when you look back at the master plan and you see the relationship of the pocket parks to the development, creating sort of interesting spaces that you can hop to and from. I was talking with somebody earlier about, when you go to Lauderdale by the Sea and you see their cute little farmers market they have every weekend. One of the pocket parks that you'll see right when you come in off of Commerce Boulevard is that size of pocket park. So those kind of programmed activities is what we expect. Of course, the wetland area will be preserved. And then really exciting is our ability to construct a parking garage, working with the developer. It is an improvement that we did not have funded. So working with the developer allows us to fund that parking garage over up to 30 years. You'll see a separate agreement for that parking garage. And to get the utilities along Lyons Road underground. That helps from a sustainability perspective, but also the aesthetics along the area. Of course, this is the crown jewel. You've seen this plan before. It's very conceptual, but the city is beginning design services on this park. And if you see the purple eyebrow at the top, that's that Lakeside Plaza that we're talking about, and it really ties the civic green to the lake viewing area and just makes it more useful. It's also kind of exciting, and these are just graphics, but if you see to the bottom corner of the slide, that's the sort of a rendering of a proposed parking structure. And then to the east, we do have an additional parcel that's future economic development, as well as a surplus of about 6 acres on the property that's being developed as the fire station. So all of those pieces coming together is why we're doing this. I think, we all thought back, when we started talking about Main Street and it being some retail destination. There isn't any development of retail destinations at this level anymore. This is a civic destination where our friends, neighbors, and homeowners can come for concerts, can just walk through the area, can run through the area, but it's that central gathering place. So pretty exciting that we're getting to this point. And this just shows you the little visual of the pocket parks. And I know they look small on this graphic, but when you tie those together with the streetscapes, it becomes a very livable area and an area that's reachable from it's right in the middle of our city. So you should be able to reach these parks. You can traverse through this area using these green spaces. So we really are pleased with the way that master plan has come together. So when we talk about the city and developer incentives, really this is one of the big ticket items that's in the agreement. And it spells out how the city will be investing these funds. $16 million of the investment that you'll see detailed later is for direct capital improvements that benefit the city. The $1.7 million is our expectation associated with the development of the Village Green and the Lakeside Plaza. When we were working with the developer, our actual contribution is $2.4 million, but we have already begun the design of that park. The city is taking on the design so that we make sure it's a park that we can maintain, we own in the long run. And then, of course, the $11 million will be subject to an agreement that we'll enter into separately with the CDD or the developer for the construction of that parking garage, which will pay back over years. We will maintain the parking garage, but it would be a lease agreement. So really, by partnering with the developer, the city is able to get these projects done much more efficiently, strategically, and with a repayment plan over years. We think this approach accelerates, really getting vital community improvements that otherwise would take us years to fund. So we're really quite excited to see this come to fruition. The other investment that we want to talk a little bit about, and this was one of the things that you all spoke very highly of, is the need to provide for workforce housing in the area. Coconut Creek is really interesting because we have the only linkage fee in the entire county. So we have collected from developers over the years a fee to offset their ability to pay reasonable wages, and we have over $1 million in that fund. Working with the developer, we're proposing a program for down payment assistance. The details of that would be approximately $80,000 in a fully forgivable loan for 10 years. The idea would be that somebody grows their wealth in that community, they become part of the community, and at that time, at 10 years, it's fully forgivable. If they do move or sell the unit in advance, the funds come back to the city as the form of program income. We also have a workforce housing program, and we are happy to have an expert here to talk a little bit about, I went quickly over the workforce housing, the homebuyer assistance program, but Denny's going to talk a little bit about the affordable housing for the rental projects. It's a little more complicated, so I'd like to ask Denny to cover that issue. Thank you.
Kind of program, renters are going to see significant savings. A one-bedroom would save $737 a month, 2 bedrooms $863, 3 bedrooms $1680, and that's per month. And again, that's just what we typically see in the market, right? Renters have little control over housing costs. They're vulnerable to market fluctuations, and that's not just because supply is hard to add in South Florida, but also they're event-driven spikes that we see in rent, like a hurricane, like a COVID or a COVID-like event, or just shifts in demand, and migration into the area, or shifts among the Tri-County area. And what we have seen historically is AMI growth lags behind these kind of market rent inflation. And that's very simple because AMI focuses on average household incomes in the whole county, not just one area, not just one project, not just one submarket. So that AMI is always going to kind of lag what we're seeing in market rents. Yep. Just want to make sure we flip the slide. So, again, South Florida, everyone knows this, faces limited land, high construction costs, there's strong investor demand, and that just exacerbates and drives this rapid rent inflation. We see that even more so in places and submarkets and locations where people want to live, like Main Street, Coconut Creek, what this will be. You know, it's going to be a great project, have a lot of desirability, great schools, proximity to jobs, easy access. And again, we just are going to continue to see in South Florida a drop in new supply. And mainly because if you look historically in South Florida, construction costs double basically every 10 years. It just makes it that much harder to build new apartments. You got to charge a lot higher rents to get investors to invest in that and get those projects out of the ground. So capping rents at this 140% of AMI just provides stability, provides a stopgap, especially for essential workers such as teachers, nurses, first responders. And again, we know their salaries significantly lag behind rent growth. So the 140% AMI caps, you know, support tenant retention, reduce turnover costs, promote long-term community stability, and it still allows developers to maintain project viability and get these projects out of the ground. So just quick summary, over 30 years, this gap between rent and income in South Florida will increase, affordability will be exacerbated, and this program will provide necessary protections and savings for renters, you know, at this project for the long term, not just quickly.
Thank you, Denny. And I'd like to just add one point of clarification, and I might not have meant it. I might not have mentioned it. If you recall, the linkage fee is a developer-funded fund that the city maintains. The investment in the affordable housing rental program will be through a waiver of building permit and engineering permit fees. So the developer, in lieu of paying the city, we will be funneling that money into the affordable housing. So it's not coming necessarily from our tax base. It's coming from the developer.
And just to further clarify, the workforce rental products will be, you know, what is provided for in the development agreement through the cost-sharing term sheet is that there will be approximately 60 units per each of Blocks 4 and Block 10 offered for workforce housing. Also, the development agreement covers maintenance and ownership. It's important to note that the city will maintain the water, wastewater, and reclaimed water system up to the point of connection, and the stormwater system, but only on city property, as well as the city will maintain the village green and the parking garage. The developer and ultimately the CDD will maintain roadways, sidewalks, stormwater system, as far as that which is on the private property, medians, landscape, irrigation, streetscape, and parks. And they must post a performance bond as it relates to the public improvements. And that is important because, as you will also see in our next presentation for the real property exchange agreement, we did provide that if certain improvements are not made to the infrastructure within the first 7 years, that ultimately we could call on those performance bonds in order to ensure that Cullum Road and Banks Road and all of the access points to our village green and to our fire station, that we have that access, that we are able to get to those properties. So we have that type of protection in there. Additionally, it's worth noting that the development agreement provides for periodic review every 12 months to make sure there's good faith compliance, to make sure that things are just moving along. Also, it provides some language. I'm just going to show you a fun map while I'm talking. This is the Lakes exhibit. Well, here, I'll leave it on there for a second. It also provides that if the property is transferred to an end user, so that would ultimately be the people that purchase the property, that they just have to notify us twice a year. If it's transferred to a subsequent developer, they have to provide proof that the bonds are still in place or that GSR is still on the hook. Otherwise, the city will get advanced consent. Will have the ability to, they'll have to say in advance whether or not they're okay with the transfer. Also, if the property is transferred to a merchant builder, which would be a commercial tenant that's building out the space, the developer would have to provide proof that the bonds are still in place, or again, GSR would still be responsible for the obligations under the development agreement. So this is the Lakes exhibit, which is attached as an exhibit to the development agreement. And this is the master street plan. All of these items have already come before you. You have already approved them. We've just attached them to kind of help bring it all together. These are all attached as exhibits to the development agreement. We also have the maintenance exhibit. Well, here's the drainage system first, sorry. And I meant to mention that Osama and Eileen both are here and can answer any questions that you may have as it relates to the roadway or the drainage, because they've done a lot of work on this, as well as the development team. And this is the maintenance exhibit, Exhibit K, which basically provides, again, I just want to reiterate, that the developer and ultimately the CDD will be responsible for maintaining all except for the village green, the city's parking garage, and then the water, wastewater, and reclaimed water to the point of connection, and surface water, but on city property only. As I mentioned earlier, this agreement is in place for 30 years, except once the project is transferred to an end user, or if for some reason the developer failed to acquire the property before December 31st. We know that's not going to happen. I'm just letting you know that that language is in here. There are provisions for default. However, there is a 60-day cure period. There are provisions for remedies for breach, such as specific performance, the ability to withhold approvals, including certificates of occupancy, until substantial performance with the obligations is achieved. And again, they are required to provide for performance bonds for public infrastructure, which would be 100% of construction costs based on the bid documents submitted by the developer. So again, that would allow us to call in the bonds if for some reason certain areas were not constructed as is provided for in the agreement. Overall, we recommend approval. It is an investment in the city, but we are able to avail ourselves of economies of scale by having them perform work for us to access and better utilize our own property while they're already out there constructing their large development project. We are looking at revenues of approximately $12 million, mostly from impact fees, and then $1.8 to $2.6 million in property taxes going forward. Again, the benefits are accelerated infrastructure, economic growth, strategic partnership. We recommend that you approve this ordinance. And we're here if you have any questions on the development agreement.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Wasserman, you have a question?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I'm super glad we're here. I'm super glad we made it. I know it's been quite a process. And to our city staff, congratulations to be here for getting here and for doing this. I just have one thing, and because our neighboring city, Carl Springs, kind of got screwed with their downtown, right? They had some issues. They were told one thing that, markets change, things evolve. I understand that. I want to know, what?
I didn't know the button was back.
Oh, no, yeah, the city clerk mentioned it at the beginning. So what safeguards, and maybe it's for here, but I know this is our developer agreement, this is the holy grail. What safeguards are in place to secure and ensure that this goes approved as is, as we've approved it, and as it's planned, regardless of what happens with the markets? Is there anything that could be said to that?
I'll go ahead and try to answer that. So the principal safeguards in the developer's agreement protect us related to the construction of the infrastructure and the phasing of the development. They've invested in these products, and they fully intend to move forward. They're closing on the property, we understand, September 18th. Markets do change, but right now you have approved site plans for almost every block in the area. So for them to proceed, it will need to be consistent with those site plans, or it'll come back to you. But we cannot guarantee the exact timing of any construction.
So any changes that might come down the road would have to come back to to the dais.
Any significant changes to site plans will come back.
Okay. I wanted you to just touch base again on utilizing their interest rates. And I know we spoke about this, right? And I think it's important that the residents understand the money we're putting in, but it's using their interest rates that help us in the long run. If you can just elaborate on that.
Sure. For the most part, the Community Development District is another government in the area, and they are eligible to have those low interest rate loans. So in lieu of procuring these construction projects separately by teaming with them, we get access to the low interest rates, and we get the economies of scale because they're doing larger projects that include ours. So I think that explains it. Thank you.
And I just want this on the record for the residents because, there's always a misunderstanding, and, I know we've talked about that. And then the rental program, I think, is super unique. I think it's very cool, to provide that safe harbor for the workforce, and not with the markets and rental going up. I think it's great, super awesome, and it really is. It's great that it's not coming from taxpayers. Right, and that's sometimes the misunderstanding when it comes to affordable housing and down payment assistance for either program. I appreciate what you guys have done, and congratulations later. Hopefully, maybe we'll see.
Thank you, Commissioner Welch.
Thank you very much. And well, this is why I ran for another 4 years. I wanted to live to see the day. I live across the street, so I'll be up close and honest about that. I have a vested interest in seeing what happens. I think one of my community members is here tonight. But when we moved to Coquina in 2005, I never dreamed what Promenade would or would maybe not look like. And to be a part of the process in this major development to fill up that big blank spot in the center of the city has really been a privilege to go along that somewhat arduous journey at times. But everything that we have asked for or that I felt was important, just from my perspective, has occurred. We have major green space, major parks, opened, large percentage of open space. We have items that units that can be purchased. Then we have the huge utilization of some of our own city property, which is really going to be heavily utilized and moved forward much more quickly thanks to the combination of efforts between the two of you and the developer and the city. And it's just, it's remarkable. Like I said, I wasn't sure I was going to live to see the day. And it's not in here, but I would be remiss if I didn't say the thought of pushing the Cullum and Lyons signalization much forward, much quickly, again, makes me happy. But just all in all, it's just like I said, it's been a hard process. It was truly give and take and a collaboration, and our staff is next to none, I have to say, and our city manager and our city attorney. They can truly hold their own, and I know you'll be a testament to that, but I'm just very proud to see this to fruition. Thank you.
Commissioner Brody?
Well, what can be said? I moved here in '97. We started talking Main Street. So it's been a long haul to get here. And I know, after seeing you guys for 2 years, I'm kind of tired of seeing you, to be honest with you. So let's get this done, right? Well, actually, it's been like 4 years for me, I guess, now. But, it's exciting to see that something that was a dream and then it fell through, and it was a dream and it fell through, and then we got this beautiful dream in our hand now that's kind of sitting here going, this is kind of the best result we could have asked for. I think we got great partnerships with you guys, with the city. I think our staff did an amazing job. I don't know how you guys did it because, there's a lot of spinny plates on sticks right now, and it's just incredible that we've gotten this far on such a large project, and I commend everybody that was involved in this. And, from the bottom of my heart, I was glad that we could have some smiles and, some yelling, and it was a kind of, brother-sister fighting going on around here to get to this point. But I think we all kind of understood the end goal was to get to these next two meetings so we can get you guys building and we can get some homes in our city for, yeah, I can't wait to see a nice golden shovel out there, right? We're going to do that? Okay. We've got to wear our hard hats, too. It might mess my hair up. But, hey, listen, I'm just proud that we're at this point, you guys. You did a great job getting here. I was probably one of the few people that went to every single open house that you had and ate your food, so I appreciate that. But it was one of those things that we wanted to see through, and now we're sitting here eyeballing this tremendously huge, complicated document that they put time into and you guys put time into, and I don't know how many other people in the city kind of, shoveled this together to get this pile. But I'm certainly glad that we're here now, and I'm certainly glad that the product is going to be something that we can be proud of, that you guys can build and be proud of, that hopefully that you'll use in magazines and brochures to show off your next project in the next 7-8 years after you finish this one. So kudos to you guys. Kudos to our staff, our city manager, and my colleagues up here. I know we all we're fighting ourselves, and we're fighting you, and we're fighting everybody to make sure that this was the right thing for our community. And I definitely tip my hat to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Rydell.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I want to hit on a couple of what I believe are really salient points of not only this deal about what you chose to do, that I think is a huge benefit to the city of Coconut Creek. When you look at the phasing map, a number of developers don't phase like that. You're phasing with your commercial node first. That's actually not traditional. Usually you're building your roofs before you're phasing into your commercial, so that's really the last node that happens. So I think that's a really significant portion of this agreement regarding phasing. I thank you and commend you for that. What I kind of harp on other things, this is almost a 75% reduction of what you're entitled to. So if you look at the entitlements of the area, and I think that's kind of the misnomer sometimes in the community, oh my God, why are you approving something like that? Well, A, we don't own the land. We can't tell you what to do on it. And B, we have a development team. Sandy and myself, I think we've seen 5? We've seen about 5 different reiterations of this where you guys came in with the lowest density, candidly imaginable. So I commend you for that because I think that's extraordinarily significant. Something you didn't put on your slide, although they kind of do on projected revenues, this will have a revenue impact on the future of the city of Coconut Creek by almost $250 million. I think the number is 220 million over the life of a project. Now, what people don't realize is that changes millage rates not going up. That changes consistent city services staying the same. So this development, while localized to the center of the city, actually changes the trajectory of the city's financial future for the next 50 years, is really what it does. And I think that's a huge, huge chunk of this, aside from, we'll call it like the concierge features. I'd like to remind commitments. I mean, you guys are sitting here, you obviously sounds pretty good, like you're getting what you want tonight based on everyone that went before me. But I'll tell you, the other thing that came out of it that's also important is our concierge permitting service, which really, you guys were the impetus for us doing that, which will hopefully allow our staff to streamline some of these things. Now I'm going to talk to the bad. The bad is I don't know what our staff's going to do with free time now. So we got to figure out some sort of addition. Maybe we got to sue somebody else. I don't know. But I think everyone in this room is going to need, they're shaking their heads at me, that they need something to do. So that would be the only bad. But I commend you all from coming to the table in a collaborative fashion that I think, I know, it's not I think, that we have a product that is going to redefine the future of the city. And I think in city planning, I commend Sheila all the time because she's been in the city for a really long time. And when you get somebody that comes in, I had a meeting with a developer today. He's been trying to buy parcels in the city for over 20 years. He just purchased an apartment complex in the city. He's been trying to break into this market. And he just gave credit to the city of Coconut Creek's planning, their master planning, how the city looks. And I think your vision that you've realized ties directly into it. And I'm excited. I'm extraordinarily excited about it. So I commend you because I know there's been, growing pains with some of this. And to the residents listening, this isn't, we're not, this misnomer that we're taking everyone's tax dollars to private, that's not what it is. This is building to guarantee a future for the city, financial viability for the city for the next 30 to 50 years, which I think of the 31 municipalities in Broward County, not many have that. Fort Lauderdale has it because they keep building density, higher with an infrastructure that can't sustain it. We're building comprehensive infrastructure that can be sustained easily because the work with people like Osama and Harry, these people that have built the infrastructure to allow it. So listen, not trying to make it a love fest, but what you guys done with our staff is unparalleled. And to our staff that has worked on this, really, Terrell, your team, everyone that's here, you really deserve a huge amount of credit, because while this document reads like it's a negotiation, it's not. It's really a partnership agreement. It means it's a developer agreement, but you know what it is? It's a partnership agreement. So I'm super excited. And Jeff, I just wanted to say this because I think you brought up a point with what really the Coral Springs CRA did, and I don't want to really poo-poo the worst city, which obviously is Coral Springs, but mark my words on that one. I think it's such a good point you bring up, because this concept of a bait and switch, or the concept of like what falls through, but like the good news, not the good news, but God forbid you guys fell apart, right? You don't close. We've maintained such structure with our site planning, our developer agreements, and our infrastructure that God forbid, I hope it's you, that God forbid something happened and the deal falls apart, they have to adhere to the standards because of the agreements they made. So I think it's a great point, because that was something always in my mind. Like, what they went through and what they're continuing to go through is kind of not what they planned. So I just want to thank all involved, and it's really, really exciting to get to this point. And I think, the majority of Coconut Creek residents, I say that because sometimes you hear the loudest voice that may not be the best voice, but people are excited about this. People are excited for a real change in trajectory. So I thank you guys, I thank our staff and our team, and I think this is ahead of a very long road, at this point, 30 years ago. So it's good to be at a place where the vision meets, I think, the city standards now and for the next 50 years. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Worst part of going last is that everything's been said, but I do want to say it sounds like our staff and you, the developers, have given us a new lease on life and a reason to grow old. So thank you for that. But I do want to say, staff, an amazing job through the years. Continue to not disappoint. Thank you so much. And as far as every one of you, the developers, the attorneys, the engineers, the architects, everyone involved, I kind of had a heads up before everyone else in this city, because you were introduced to me while I was on the Broward Planning and Zoning. And the way you handled yourselves, and how accommodating, and how your sense of compromise and making the cities, the residents happy, was so impressive that I really never forgot your presentations. So when you came into the city of Coconut Creek, I said, these are the guys. These are the ones that are going to make it happen and make us happy. And you didn't disappoint us, so thank you. And super excited to see this shovel to the ground. Can't wait for that to happen. Again, Terrell, Sheila, your staff, you lead them. They're amazing. I want to say kudos to everyone and thank you for making this a genuine, I don't want to say painless, but nearly painless experience. But there were, but I'm telling you, and that's why this city enjoys such a wonderful reputation, because we have moved forward through the years, and you don't realize the growing pains as we grow, because it is so well planned. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this city. Thank you so much.
Mayor, if I just may, real quick, I know Yvonne's here. I don't know if Yvonne could maybe take a picture if we get Alex to actually smile. He's almost. I didn't know if we want to capture that moment. That's all I have.
Okay. There we go. All right, great. Are there any other comments? Any other comments? Okay. Please call the roll. Mr. Kavanaugh. Oh, okay, Scott. Backman, please. No?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted everyone taking an opportunity. Obviously, we still have second reading in a few weeks, but I think Alex and I both just want to say something as well, just kind of express our gratitude. For me, and Sheila and Scott in particular, I've been working in the city from pretty much the day I graduated from law school. I've gotten to know the city, the various people that have sat in your seats, all of you very well, and I will say without a question, this is probably the crowning jewel of my career. Certainly so far, but honestly, I don't know over the next however many years I have left that I see anything this significant that means as much to me, that means as much to everyone else. And I think a testament to the relationships, obviously the relationships that I have with my client and our development team, but the relationships that we've all forged over the years, got this done. It has not been easy, but it's been what it was supposed to be to get us to this point. I think at the end of the day, obviously a testament to what's happening here this evening, the nature and type of agreement that we're talking about. Just a very sincere thank you to Sheila, to Terrell, the exhaustive hours that we have spent talking together, working with one another on unbelievably complicated. I mean, forget being the crowning jewel of my career, the hands down the most complicated thing I have ever worked on out of law school as an attorney. It's ridiculously insane, and it has all of the protections that you all have mentioned and are looking for to make sure we hold our feet to the fire. Obviously, our intention and everything I've done with this development team over the course of my entire career, we have always shown up, we have always delivered, and that's exactly what's going to happen here today. I very much look forward to the hard hats and the shovels. I still have some of them sitting in my office from other projects that I've done with this team. And again, to all of you, it hasn't always been easy. I know we've sat in some meetings together, and at times, it gets a little testy, everyone trying to advocate for their particular position. But again, I think we've arrived at what really is and will be the best project that Main Street could have been, for all of the reasons that have been stated tonight. So I know Alex wants to say a few things as well, but thank you.
Yeah, I did want to.
Alex, you are so misunderstood.
I know, right? So I just wanted to say a few words from the heart tonight. For me, this has been 20 years of work. I started working on this in, what is this? Yeah, 2005. Sheila remembers. I'll age myself. I was 31 years old. She is still 29 years old. So, we worked together to finally get this done. And I want to thank specifically the staff for all the hard work you put into this. The residents of Coconut Creek, rest assured you have a great staff. And thank you all. The idea of Main Street was always to keep it Main Street nice, to make it a special place to live. And having worked on the plans, the design, all of the things that go into it for the last 5 years, the best is yet to come. Obviously, it's still a farm field, but knowing what we're about to build, it is going to change the city of Coconut Creek. So thank you to the staff for continuing to drive that quality of development. We really appreciate it. It's not always been easy. Sheila, Terrell, Scott, and everyone else involved, thank you all for doing that and working together with us. Your city commission, you guys have been great. We've had so many meetings together, so many discussions. Thank you all for the commitment to helping us get through all of this stuff. It is difficult. It is, for me personally, it is probably the most complicated deal I'll ever work on. We are, as a group, we are very excited for what's about to happen. I want to thank you to all of the hundreds of consultants, people on our end that have worked on this deal, the design, the agreements. I know Jay Huebner's in here tonight. You've been great in working with us. Rick Stefano, Kyle, Denny for coming tonight. Thank you. All of the people. Christina, every one of you have worked so hard. Also to my partners, Rick Giles, Brian Schmier, who can't be here tonight, 13th floor, Mike Nunziato, Landon, and everybody at 13th floor. It is a best-in-class partnership. We work so well together. We know each other so well. We talk daily, 5-10 times a day. So thank you. But most importantly tonight, I want to thank our fearless leader, Scott Backman. I mean, this guy is amazing. What he has done over the 5 years, and how talented you are in keeping all of us on the right path. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate it. So that's it. Thank you all.
Thank you. And now we will open for a public hearing. Anyone would like to speak on this agenda item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Rowley?
Yes. That's great. Thank you. We still have another ordinance. Okay. Ordinance 2025-034. Public hearing. Please, City Attorney Pyburn, read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor Raley. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, approving the exchange of real property agreement and approving the purchase and sale of real property described therein by and between the City of Coconut Creek and GSR RE Partners LLC for real property described as Block 15A of the Main Street at Coconut Creek development, as further described in Exhibit 1 to Exhibit N attached here too, which is comprised of approximately 6.1355 acres to be conveyed by city to GSR in blocks 12A, 12B, 13, and civic node circulation of the Main Street at Coconut Creek development, as further described in Exhibit 3 to Exhibit N attached here too, which is comprised of approximately 5.732 acres to be conveyed to by GSR to city, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement, providing for a public purpose, providing for conflicts, providing for recordation, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for first reading and public hearing.
Thank you. Do I have a motion
Move
and
it.
a second?
Second.
Commissioner Rydell, seconded by Commissioner Welsh. City Attorney will now make the report. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a brief, much shorter presentation for the exchange of real property agreement. Just for the record, I do want to mention that this is, again, between the City of Coconut Creek and GSR RE Partners LLC. It is related to the Main Street at Coconut Creek project, and this is actually attached as Exhibit N to the development agreement that we just approved. The CDD is also part of this agreement by joinder and consent, which is also attached as an exhibit to this agreement. Let me advance the slide. So this is, as I mentioned, a companion to the Main Street Development Agreement. It enables the exchange of land, allowing the creation of the Village Green. It facilitates public and private development in the PMDD, which again stands for Planned Main Street Development District. GSR will develop, well, they have the ability to develop under this agreement up to 2,360 residential units and 225,000 square feet of commercial space, but as you already heard, they're not necessarily going to develop that many. That is just what's allowed by the PMDD. The terms of the exchange are as follows. The city will convey 6.1355 acres to GSR, and GSR will convey 5.732 acres for public uses to enhance the Village Green, to provide for the parking garage, the Lakeside Plaza, etc. GSR also will help facilitate the transfer of the FDOT parcel, which is approximately 719 square feet that you'll see on the slide I'm going to show you in just a minute. And there will be special warranty deeds exchanged with mineral rights, no restrictions post-transfer. Okay, so more specifically, what is denoted in yellow is the property that is going from the city to GSR. That's at the top of your map. I don't have a pointer. Hopefully you can see it clearly there. And what is denoted in, I don't know whether it's orange or brown, that is the property that's going to be transferred from GSR to the city. And that, as you can see, surrounds and almost envelops the Village Green. And as you can also tell, to the right of that is also city property. So that transfer is helping to effectuate our ability to develop that whole civic node as was previously discussed. The consideration for this agreement is based on approximately $15.15 a square foot of appraised value. We are in the process of updating our appraisals, and we will attach that prior to second reading of this ordinance. We have equalized the value, even though there is a slight difference in the number of acres being exchanged, and that equalization is being done for economic development purposes in accordance with Section 166.0218 of the Florida statutes. This agreement will terminate after closing, except that for 7 years, or in 7 years, if certain infrastructure is not built, I'm going to go back to this slide, to help effectuate our access to the brown-orange parcels that you see there surrounding the Village Green, and more specifically the public alley, which is blocks 15B, 15C, and 12A, to the first lift of asphalt, Cullum Road to the first lift of asphalt, and the infrastructure roadway and streetscape to provide access to the Village Green and the fire station, which is the area denoted as city to the right of the brown property, or orange property, if you will. If it's not completed within 7 years, then we can call the performance bond in order to be able to finish constructing those roadways to give us that access. We don't anticipate that that will happen, but that is just some protection that is provided in this agreement. Normally, when you have a purchase and sale agreement for real property, after the closing, the agreement is done, it's over. In this case, it will linger and be in existence for another 7 years just for that purpose. Title, GSR is going to provide legal descriptions and Alta title insurance. Defects must be cured before closing by responsible party. GSR Phase 2 environmental shows the need for remediation on our property. I believe you got some information about that remediation. GSR will pay for that remediation, however, it will take place post-closing. Again, the closing terms are we expect that they will close on the property by September 18th. However, the agreement will be in place until December 31st. If for some reason there's a delay in closing, we give them until December 31st to do so. Closings get extended all the time, closing dates, because, a missing document here or there, so we wanted to provide that buffer for that. The city will pay its legal fees for title review. We have utilized Patricia Rathburn, who has done title work for us in the past, and GSR will pay its legal fees as well as title insurance, recording fees, and doc stamps. In the event of default, there are defined cure periods of 120 days. There is also the ability to utilize specific performance as a remedy in the event that there is the need to cure any breach. As mentioned earlier, we could call the bonds after 7 years if minimum infrastructure is not built as specified in the agreement. GSR also has reciprocal rights with regards to specific performance and the ability to cure, or rather to put us on notice of any default and cure. Automatic termination occurs, again, if they fail to acquire the parcels by December 31st. That is not going to happen, so we are not worried about that at all. I'm just telling you all of the terms of the agreement. Again, the agreement is governed by Florida law and property statutes as well as the city's code. There is no assignment without consent except for to the CDD, which, again, they are joining by joinder and consent. And those clauses survive closing, and it binds all successors and assigns. And that's it. That is the real property exchange agreement. We are here if you have any questions. I do, again, want to thank Sheila and her team, as well as Scott Backman and Christina Belinky and the development team, as well as my own team and all of you for your time. Thank you. And for all of the time that's been expended getting us to this point. Both this ordinance and the development agreement, I failed to mention earlier, will require a second reading, so they're both going to come back before you August 28th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Terrell, for your constant input and dedication. Okay. Commissioner Rydell.
Yeah, just briefly, I'll just share with my colleagues a comment I had in my meetings with Sheila and Terrell. I just want to confirm publicly that the appraisals and the models we use to appraise the land are not going to have any effect on other city-owned parcels and potential future development, whether private and private-public partnerships on other city-owned land. Meaning, the other acreage we own, I want to make sure that we're not binding ourselves to a modeling in this that could be detrimental to future deals. That's what I want to just have on record.
I would agree with that.
Terrell?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Welsh?
Yes, and this is to our city attorney. I'm glad that you're on salary and not billable hours. That's all I'll say.
Thank you, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we know who's on the winning end of that, right? Anyone else? Thank you. I will now open public hearing. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? When you come forward to speak, please state your name and address clearly for the record. Anyone? Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Are there any further questions or comments from Commission? Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Raley?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Ordinance 2025-023. This is a second reading, public hearing. City Attorney Pyburn, please. Thank you, guys.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, amending the city's Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 13, Land Development Code, Article 1, Administration, Regulations, and Procedures, Division 2, Administration, Section 13-16, Planning and Zoning Board, to add economic development as an optional criteria for Planning and Zoning Board membership, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date. This item is before you at this time for second reading and public hearing.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Welch. Seconded by Commissioner Brody. Are there any questions or comments from our City Commission? Okay, seeing none, I will open public hearing. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on the item? Come forward, please speak, state your name and address clearly for the records. Anyone? Seeing none, I will close public hearing. Thank you. Are there any further comments from Commission? Mr. Kavanaugh, please call the roll.
You want more? No?
Sorry?
You want more comments?
Nope.
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Welch?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman?
Yes.
Mayor Raley?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Before I ask for the city manager's report, I want to say tonight was epic. And congratulations.
Was epic.
Really. Very exciting evening. City manager?
Thank you. I'll be very quick. Thank you all so much for your patience and indulgence. We are thrilled to have gotten that through the finish, across the finish line. I also appreciate you agreeing to a special meeting on the evening of August 18th. We'll try to keep that agenda short. And just a quick update on Lions Creek Middle School, and I see Bernadette still in the back. It's been a heavy lift, but our staff would not take no for an answer. We had considerable pushback from the school board, didn't think it was timely or they could actually accomplish what they agreed to. But as the field meeting was going on, where they were talking about why they couldn't get done and they needed permits and the like, our utilities and engineering crew was out there and declared it an emergency and started moving curbs. So that's how we work. That's and we certainly set the example. So that will be starting Monday morning. We expect there'll be a little confusion for a couple of weeks, but police will be out there monitoring the situation, and all should be well. So thank you for your indulgence.
Yeah, City Manager, just to let you know, that I don't see more people putting a singular thing out that was put out by the city, but that was put out everywhere. Everybody I knew was posting that. Every website I'm in had that thing on there. So it was a great job getting it out there. So hopefully Monday goes smooth. So
Well,
good job on that.
thanks, Bernadette, for that.
Mayor?
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Welch.
When we went to the superintendent's update over in Coral Springs, I slipped and introduced Bernadette as our PIA for education. Not on microphone. And she is.
Want to clarify what that PIA is?
Not on record.
Okay, then. Send me the city attorney, please.
Thank you. Yes, I think this was an epic evening. I know when I first was hired here back in 2014, just learning about Main Street seemed very exciting but very far off in the future, and now the future is here. At any rate, moving on to other business, as Senator Polsky mentioned earlier, Senate Bill 180 passed this year. Weiss-Serota is getting a group of cities together to challenge Senate Bill 180, and if we are interested, we can join. If we are, I can put a resolution on the next agenda. They are asking for approximately $10,000 from each city that wants to join. You don't have to make a decision tonight. I just wanted to share it with you, and you can let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
Yeah, I don't support joining a lawsuit. I'll say what I said to you privately. I'll say it to my colleagues. We have the ability, if we choose to mimic any lawsuit. Any lawyer can look at a lawsuit filed, copy the lawsuit, and file it on their own behalf as opposed to paying $10,000 to do it. I just don't think it's ripe, and that's my position. If there's consensus to do it, I understand. I don't know if you guys are okay with this. I know we set a special meeting on the 18th, and we docketed it at 6 p.m. I don't know if it's at 7? Yeah. Is there an ability for, I'm just asking for a courtesy, is there an ability to doing it at either 7:30 or earlier? And the only reason is it's my second week of coaching girls basketball, and I'd hate to cancel a practice. I will do it if I have to, and I will. I'm just asking if there's a little leeway we could do it a half an hour later. That way I could actually make a practice and get some of my girls running.
Certainly, it's at your pleasure.
It's up to,
I know Commissioner Wasserman
I
will
coach
be
from
traveling.
6:30 to 7:30. It's literally my second practice. So I don't know if everyone can do 7:30. If everyone wants to do 5:30, I defer to all of you.
I'll be on business in DC, but 6 p.m. would be fine. I could do it because I'll zoom in.
Would 5:30 work?
You're calling the meeting. I was under the understanding it's 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
We could move it to 5:30 if that would.
I'm confused.
That's one
What
accident
time
away
is
from
your
me not making it.
practice? What time does practice start?
It's from 6:30 to 7:30. If I have to cancel, obviously I understand it's extremely important.
I'm okay with doing 7:30.
I can do
It's
7:30.
better on
I
me.
don't
I'm
have a
not
problem with
rushed.
7:30, or we can make it earlier, if that works. 5 o'clock?
My problem is it's an hour drive from where I work.
do
So
7:30.
one accident and I'm screwed. So I'd rather go to 7:30 than earlier.
That's fine with me.
7:30 is fine.
Staff is fine with that.
Joe?
Thank you.
7:30 it is.
There's obviously a lot that's gone on. We haven't met in a while. I'm just going to be succinct. The only thing I'm really going to discuss this evening is Solid Waste Authority. Super frustrated. So the last time the executive, aside from a number of reasons, which is just to share with my colleagues, our city actually gave a number of comments to the master plan that were not incorporated, which took additional action by our staff to remind them to please incorporate them, which ultimately became incorporated, but wasn't in the first round, which is just frustrating. The executive committee gave consensus to the executive director in June to cancel the August meeting, which is next Friday, for the purpose that a majority of the members on the executive committee all are going to be in Orlando for the Florida League of Cities, to which the executive director didn't cancel. So there's a meeting now, I found out, is not going to be canceled. They're offering it virtually, where if they don't have a quorum, they can't do things, but they're a little frustrating that there was commitment to cancel, there was direction by the governing executive committee to cancel, and they're moving forward. So I insisted, and I know staff saw it, there's going to be a virtual link, so I'm going to attend while in Orlando, but just it's a little frustrating in terms of what's gone on the past 6 weeks for how we're going to move forward on that. But I'll keep everyone updated, and I'll let everyone know what's going on with that. Sandy, you look like you want to say something.
I do, because what about the combined governing board and executive?
That's not next week.
That's later.
September.
Okay.
So
And that
everyone
hasn't
can come
been-
to that.
and that
No,
hasn't
but
been changed.
It's just interesting because literally 5 members of the executive committee, there was a majority vote to do it. So I don't know what happened, and I think they just feel under the gun with the timeline to have the final product. But we know that no one really is, like, aside from it's a very important final product, the county doesn't really care about it, so it's just a little frustrating, the time crunch to push something through on some of these agendas and meetings. But I just wanted to really inform you guys. And that's all I have this evening. I think there's a lot of other exciting things going on. That's it, but I'll keep it short tonight because we have a lot to celebrate. Thank you.
Josh, yeah, I just wanted to ask about Solid Waste Authority and this time crunch. At this point in time, what is the time crunch?
The time crunch is under the ILA agreement. They're mandated to come up with a formal master plan, which then has to be voted on by all the incorporated municipalities.
By what date? That's what I'm asking.
It's, I believe the drop deadline is a year from September. Okay. But the logistical work that has to go into essentially Mike Ryan and Beam going to every city, getting them to vote affirmatively on the master plan with what then it's a tall order, much like how Greg Ross came to every meeting and got every municipality to sign off on it as well. So it's a tall order, especially with the competing interests. And again, I'm happy to go into more detail about it, but the competing interest of South Broward in regarding objecting to any concept of burning as opposed to kind of Northwest Broward. I'm not saying we're okay with burning, but we'd rather burn than landfill. So there's an interesting split on the geographic county. So the reason there's a time crunch is they need the formal master plan, because if we reach the time frame, it's defunct. It's null and void, everything. So I understand the need of pushing it along, but the problem is in haste makes waste. So you're going to end up not including, especially not including certain cities' comments is frustrating in and of itself, but pushing something along where you're not going to have, we've had 3 meetings in this year alone where there wasn't quorum of the executive committee, so we can't take formal action. While we can have a meeting and we could, host a workshop on something, if we don't have quorum, we can't take formal action. I can't imagine there's going to be quorum on August 15th because there's expenses. I mean, the city has bared a nominal expense, but for us to all be planned, I mean, we took consensus on this, months and months ago for us to go to Orlando to participate, which is extraordinarily valuable to the city. So I just wanted to apprise you of that, and I'll let everyone know on the September meeting, and I'll let everyone know when it's the joint meeting if everyone wants to go as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Again, it was just an excellent meeting to culminate all the years of hard work. I did receive a request from a resident for a program for Parks and Recreation. So what's the best way to do this? Hand it down to Sheila and see if this came from our friend actually over in the Equestrian Overlay District. He's suggesting a week of music for peace. We might, for a week of music for peace. I think we all need that, right? Okay, 2 things. One was I received comments from both families where the memorial bench was dedicated for the first 2 that took advantage of the virtual memorial tributes, and they just couldn't be more grateful for the product and how it was presented and received. So it was a job well done. And the very small ribbon cutting that we had turned out to be a home run winner. This man out in one of the Johnson Road plazas that's just newly expanded is already ready to expand, and he's looking for high school and college engineering interns to bring in under his wing. So he's looking to expand and hire more, so a huge business opportunity in that regard. And I just want to thank again everybody for the cooperation to get us to where we were tonight. I still can't believe it. I'm going to pinch myself. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brody.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to address the lawsuit. And I spoke about this, and I'm a big guy when it comes to ROI, the lawsuit with the 180. I don't think our return on that investment is going to be worth it. So I'm kind of leaning towards what Commissioner Rydell said, and I don't think we should be involved with that. I don't think we're going to get anything out of it. To put that money in, the taxpayer money, into something that's really not going to, make a difference. We could just do it ourselves if that's the case. Well. One positive thing, and I usually been keeping this short because I'm kind of been exhausted lately between the grandkid and the job. But I went out Saturday night to the concert of Groove and Grub, and I'm going to tell you that there was a lot of things that I went wow to. First of all, the grass and the paint job and the aesthetics of that area were phenomenal. When you walked on the court and you saw the food trucks and that nicely painted asphalt or the concrete, you're just like, wow, this really looked classy. And then you saw the pickleball courts looked good. The grass was super green. All the paint looked touched up. I mean, it really kind of gave a classy look. And to be honest with you, I had friends that were coming from other cities that came in, were so impressed with how everything looked. And I'm going to, kudos out to that team, too, because they put that concert together. It was flawless. Well, almost flawless. There was a TP issue, but we won't get into that. But it was one of those events where you just saw smiles on people's face. Everybody was pretty happy with it. And, those are the kind of things that really kind of puts that shine on the city. So make sure, Wayne, that you let the team know that it was recognized, not just by me, but I had people coming up to me and telling me how beautiful the facility was and how great it was ran and the food trucks. So that was a really great event. It was just very hometownish. And so great job with that. And that's basically all I got tonight.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll piggyback to an extent of what Commissioner Brody was saying about the evening. Saturday night was great. It was nice to have music tuned for a different generation, which I thought was a real good twist, and I talked to Leo about it. It was really cool. Like millennials. It was like millennials, Mayor. But what I will say, and I should have brought it up the other day, and it just slipped my mind when I was meeting with Yvonne and the team. Just when I saw the ad, and I brought this up to my wife, and we were talking about it, the ad for the Groove and Grub that was posted. Groove and Grub is really big, right? But the band was so tiny. And I think sometimes for the Groove and Grub, people know it, but you might encourage more people to come if they know the band, if they know the music. Just look at the post. I'm not saying that was a delineator of why or who, if people come or not, but the Leave It to Us part of which is the band name, was so tiny that that's my feedback.
That baby in there.
The what?
There's the baby in there. So they made everything else smaller.
No, I wasn't talking about the video. Oh, okay. The baby was very cute baby. No, it was the graphic, not the video. But no, welcome back to the teachers and the students this week. The student, hopefully everything goes well at Lions Creek, and I'll leave it at that, and we will see, in a couple weeks. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, again, thank you, everyone, for a great job. Really phenomenal. Everyone should be so proud of Main Street, just even to get this far. God bless you guys. It's great. Monday, can't believe school starts. There are some celebrations at the schools. Some of us will be there at the schools to welcome the students. And 6:30 a.m. breakfast with Superintendent Hepburn, yay, at Coconut Creek High. So we will be there. I will.
I'll be there.
You're going to be there as well. Great. Okay. Also Saturday night we have Moana 2 at the Butterfly Lot. So kick off and go take the family and get your last movie in before school starts. Great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Job well done all around, always. Thank you. I have nothing else. Just want to say.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Stay well. God bless. Meeting adjourned.